Hello, live from Channels Television's global headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria. You're watching Newsroom series. I'm Dominic Iwiwa, and today our focus would be on the northwestern region. The Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kayode Egbetokun, has assured that the Nigerian police force has strengthened its intelligence network and is working closely with the Kebbi State government to ensure the safe return of the abducted Maga schoolgirls. The assurance came during his visit to Governor Nasir Idris at the government house, where he commiserated with the state government over the abduction at Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School, Maga, in Danko Wasugu local government area. The Inspector General of Police was received in Birnin, Kebbi by senior officers of Zone 10, including the Assistant Inspector General of Police and the Commissioners of Police from Sokoto and Kebbi states. At the Government House, the Inspector General of Police described the abduction as an act of cruelty aimed at destabilizing the peace that Kebbi State has enjoyed, as well as disrupting the education sector already strained by school closures following the incident. Responding, Governor Idris thanked the Inspector General of Police for his visit and concern, noting that the police have always acted promptly whenever the state government seeks their support.
Lord, as he has been into serious peaceful state as we have enjoyed the liberty.
We'll get back to that story in a bit, but moving on, Governor Nasir Idris of Kebbi State has called on President Bola Tinubu to review the country's security architecture, stressing that with recent security developments, there are enemies attempting to scuttle the democracy the nation currently enjoys. The governor made the call when he received the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, at the Government House in Birnin, Kebbi.
The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, is leading members of the Green Chamber to commiserate with the Kebbi State government over the abduction of schoolgirls in Maga local government area of the state. In his message, Speaker Abbas said the House strongly condemns the incident and appealed to Governor Idris to immortalize the late Vice Principal by naming the school after him. While praying for the safe return of the abducted girls, the Speaker announced a donation of 20 million naira to the family of the late Vice Principal and 10 million naira to the family of the late watchman, who was also killed.
This is somebody that has actually died in active service. We want to seize this opportunity to pray for him, for Almighty Allah to grant him eternal Jannah Firdausi. And we want to also employ His Excellency to serve an example. Honor him if the school where this incident took place does not have a name. We want to urge and plead to you to name that institution after this man.
Responding, Governor Idris expressed appreciation for the visit and reiterated that he is still expecting answers from the military regarding the security lapses that allowed the abduction of the schoolgirls. The governor noted that he is aware his earlier revelations did not go down well with some individuals and emphasized that as a representative of the people, he has a responsibility to explain the lapses that occurred, especially as the government has not relented in supporting security agencies operating in the states.
Whether somebody like it or not, what has happened has left us as Kebbi State people to ask questions. The people doesn't want this my statement, but I'll continue to say it as a leader. I'm thinking enemies are working to truncate this democracy. If we continue this way, only God knows where we're heading to. Federal government must review. It depends at the church.
The governor accepted the Speaker's request and promised to renew the government girls' comprehensive secondary school, Maga, after the late Vice Principal, Malam Hassan Mukuku.
Staying in Kebbi State, the coalition of civil society organizations in the state has condemned the abduction of students from Government Comprehensive Girls Secondary School, Maga, in Danko Wasugu local government area, describing the attack as heinous and a direct assault on the safety and future of children. Speaking at a press conference in Birnin, Kebbi, chairman of the coalition, Ibrahim Ngasaki, expressed deep sympathy to the people and government of Kebbi State, especially the families of the abducted girls. He said the incident carried out by armed bandits has once again exposed the vulnerability of schools and communities in the state. The coalition demand urgent measures for both state and federal authorities, which include intensifying search and rescue operations to ensure the safe return of all abducted girls and strengthening security around schools and communities, and relocating boarding schools in remote or high-risk areas to safer locations.
We call on the state government to, number one, intensify search and rescue operations to ensure the safe return of all the abducted girls and other people in captivity. Two, we call on the government to strengthen security measures around schools and communities and relocate all boarding schools situated at remote areas to attack the areas that are vulnerable to attacks to a more safer location to prevent reoccurrence of such incidents. Three, we engage the government to engage with the community leaders and other critical stakeholders to foster dialogue, prevention, and peace as a resilience building initiative in all the wards and villages across the state. Four, government to provide comprehensive support to the victims' families immediately. That is psychological care. Number five, government to fully implement Safe School Initiative, which Kebbi State government is a beneficiary of the grant received from World Bank under the Agile projects.
The Chairman, House of Representatives Committee on Interior, Honorable Abdullahi Ahmed, has pledged to support the Katsina State government's efforts in tackling banditry and youth restiveness in the state. Mr. Ahmed, who is also a member representing Musawa Matozu Federal Constituency of Katsina State, made the pledge in the state's capital shortly after giving scholarship assistance to 2,199 students from his constituency undergoing studies in various higher institutions of learning across the country. He believes that despite government's efforts, the current security situation in the country requires divine intervention, stating that with prayers, the situation will be a thing of the past.
In response to the recent security developments in some parts of the north, the Katsina State government to the northwest has directed the immediate but temporary closure of all boarding schools. This precautionary measure is aimed at safeguarding the lives of students, teachers and school personnel, as well as strengthen existing security mechanisms. The move by the state government is commended by the chairman, House of Representatives Committee on Interior, Abdullahi Ahmed, who pledges to support the state government's efforts in tackling banditry, unemployment, and guarantee safety of schools in the state.
That's why I decided to help, to encourage the parent and to encourage the student to give them the scholarship. Maybe it will help in other way to give them morale. They get morale to go to the school.
Meanwhile, the state government plans to recruit additional primary school teachers in rural communities mostly affected by banditry, promising to prioritize welfare for teachers as education received a lion's share of the state's 2026 budget.
His Excellency Maranduko Omarata is making every provision for the education sector, ranging from the payment of salary as at Wendu, provision of adequate and qualified teachers, provision of infrastructures where there are dilapidated ones, as well as provision of water points and toilet facilities, even construction of new schools where they are needed. His Excellency is up to the task and doing all he could to see that education has stand on its feet.
The state government reiterates its commitment to recognizing and rewarding outstanding teachers and also reinforced a punishment strategy for erring teachers as part of efforts to transform the basic education sector in Katsina State.
Success of this project, has been.
Back to our top story, the Nigerian police force has strengthened its intelligence network and is working closely with the Kebbi State government to ensure the safe return of the abducted Maga schoolgirls. The assurance was given by the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kaide Egbetokun, today during his visit to Governor Nasir Idris to commiserate with the state government over the abduction of students at the comprehensive secondary school Danko Wasago local government area. He described the abduction as an act of cruelty aimed at destabilizing the peace that Kebbi State has enjoyed.
We also have to thank all the security agencies in the state for being alert to their responsibilities. And at the same time also to seize this opportunity to thank the IGP, because whenever we cry, IG will listen to us. We talk of issue of armored vehicles, additional manpower, and so on and so forth. And one will write to the IG acknowledge our write-off, and at the same time, whatever is contained into our letter that we are seeking intervention of the IG has done for us.
We have deployed additional tactical assets to Kebbi State. We have expanded our intelligence platforms, and we are deepening collaboration with other security agencies and the local community security network in the state. We are going to work together. We are going to be united in purpose and ensure that peace returns to Kebbi State.
The Kaduna State Police Command says it has intensified clearance operations in identified frontline areas across the state as part of renewed efforts to curb banditry and restore public safety. The areas include Maga, Ikara, Kudan local government areas. The spokesman of the command, DSP Mansur, said in a statement that the operation is carried out jointly with the military, Department of State Service, the NSCDC, and local vigilantes. He explains that the operation is in strict compliance with the marching orders of the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kaide Egbetokun, directing all commands to intensify efforts towards eliminating crime and criminality in their jurisdictions. According to the Kaduna police spokesman, the operation is strategically designed to flush out criminal hideouts, dismantle illegal camps, and restore absolute peace and stability within all the nooks and crannies of the affected areas. Staying in Kaduna State, the state's government has reaffirmed its commitment to the timely completion of the over 85 ongoing road projects across the 23 local government areas of the state as part of its rural transformation agenda aimed at bringing infrastructural gap at the grassroots. The assurance follows an inspection tour by the Managing Director of Kaduna Road Agency, Dr. Abdullahi Baba Ahmed, who visited several ongoing construction sites to assess the level of work done.
Residents of Kaduna and Zaria have long awaited the completion of major road projects initiated by the administration of Governor Uba Sani. The various networks are expected to ease movement of goods and services, boost local commerce, and open rural communities. The Managing Director of Kaduna Road Agency is inspecting the construction sites to assess the level of work done. Some of the roads inspected include those in Makafi, Sebongeri, and Kudan local government area.
Final stage of the earth moving. The hydraulic structures are completed. By next week, we will start the surfacing, that is priming of MC1 and asphalt. We're doing the best quality we can do. In the area here, we have a very good quality of laterite material. which is equivalent to stone base. So inshallah, the road will not have any challenge.
The contractors handling the projects also briefed the team.
We have an existing situation of an existing road open to traffic in a very busy area. But from the instruction given to us by the client that we should rehabilitate the entire road section in the entire scope of the work. So we're going to make provision for asphalt, binder course, bearing course, stone base, and we have elaborate drains all over the places. We have equally identified that the main problem in this zone is lack of proper drainage networks, which we are working on. As you can see, that is the progress we are.
Satisfied with the explanations, the Cadra MD emphasizes the need for timely delivery.
People have started experiencing the impact of that road. When we went for inspection, before the road was constructed, a bag of rice, to transport a bag of rice from Kauru down to Kubau, at Pambegwa, you pay 3,000 naira. And you spend like 3 to 4 hours. But now, it's just 120 naira. They will transform your bag of rice or maize from Kauru down to Pambegwa, and within 25 minutes.
With the renewed assurance from the state government, residents now anticipate the completion of the road projects that will link communities in Kudan, Markafi and Sabongari local governments.
You're watching Newsroom series live on Channels Television. Still ahead, we'll bring you more stories from the Northwest. Stay with us. Welcome back. Sokoto State government says work has been completed on the state-owned 38 megawatt independent power projects built to augment the inadequate power supply affecting economic activities and other development strides in the state. The State Commissioner for Energy, Sanusi Danfulani, while speaking with journalists at the site of the project, said the present administration has committed over 1.5 billion naira on the project, making the power project to consume over 7 billion since its commencement from inception. He said what is remaining now is for technical personnel and the contractors to finalize the stage of evacuation and eventual distribution of electricity to the benefiting residents in the state. The commissioner also visited the State Water Board, where the government has also embarked on a multi-million naira 4.2 megawatt solar power plant exclusively for the state water scheme. The aim is to solve the perennial water supply challenge being faced in the metropolis, which was largely blamed on inadequate power supply to the state's water supply plants.
We are here for the third time, I think, with journalists. And this time around, we are having a good news because the state government have invested a lot of billions of naira. I think the last investment, the award for the rehabilitation and also completion of this project, the government spent over 1.5 billion. And so far, so good. The plant has been rehabilitated and the project has finally been completed. And according to my ministry technician, they have briefed me that they have sent the current on to this plant and everything is okay for now. But we are still reassembling again with the contractors and the whole technical team to see what next line of action to be taken.
For years, we have relied on the national grid, and then sometimes the national grid has its own shortcomings and obstacles, mostly in periods where water is required, like the Bazara period or the rainy season, early onset of the rainy season. So because of that, we have made proposal for His Excellency to consider, and he has magnanimously considered it and approved the contract for the supply of 4.2 megawatts, which will be adequate for the whole of our water system.
Genetically modified organisms have become the most debated topics in modern agriculture and nutrition, from improving crop yields to resisting pests and droughts to raising concerns about long-term health and environmental risks. GMO foods are at the intersection of science, ethics, and global food policy. In this special report, our correspondent Abubakar Salihu examines the controversy surrounding the adoption of genetically modified seeds in Kano State.
Genetically modified foods are products that have been genetically altered using modern biotechnology techniques to introduce desirable traits such as pest resistance, drought tolerance, or enhanced nutrition. Instead of traditional crossbreeding, GMO technology involves directly modifying an organism's DNA by inserting genes from another species. This practice is most commonly applied in staple crops like maize, cowpea, soybeans, and cotton. With global food demand expected to rise by 70% by 2050, experts believe GMO foods may offer essential solutions, particularly for climate resilience, malnutrition, and food insecurity in Africa.
Crops are generally improved to achieve certain purposes. One of them is to increase yield, which is very important. Then second, to have tolerance or resistance to biotic that are living organisms or abiotic or non-living organisms that hampers crops yield. Take for instance diseases. There are many diseases that people know that crops are being affected by diseases.
The National Biotechnology Research and Development Agency is a key driver of GM crops in Nigeria, and the agency is assuring citizens of the safety of the products.
The plant, they are saying that if you replant it, it is not going to reproduce because it's one chance. No, that is not true. What you need is that if you plant it, the yield is not going to be the same as the first planting, and it continues to deplete. And that is reality in everything.
In Nigeria and other African nations, GMO adoption has been met with both optimism and skepticism. Farmers and residents of Kano also have varied opinions regarding the adoption of GM seeds, especially that of Tela maize, which was officially released on January 11, 2024.
I would rather stick to the seeds I know. This one is entirely new to us. I actually need more yield, so I will try this new seed and I will see.
The big one is more preferable and it's more nutrient to the body. You understand? If you put it in fire, in some minutes it will be done faster than these new beans. You understand?
I prefer our traditional beans to this new one because it's something I don't know.
The Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare has announced plans to strengthen regulatory measures on genetically modified crops by ensuring mandatory labeling, traceability, and strict compliance with safety standards to promote transparency and public trust. However, a tour of seed vendors in Kano discovers that the only label most seed packs is hybrid.
The companies now, they are the ones that are directly related to the farmers. The farmers, those authentic companies, genuine companies, that they are the ones that farmers know. They are the ones that are selling the certified seed to the farmers. So they have to liaise with these companies to do certain demonstration plots inside the farmer's own farm. The farmer has his own farm. So whatever you bring new, you have to carry it alongside with the variety that the farmer has been cultivating for a long time, whether it is fertilizer, whether it is agrochemicals, whether it is seeds, so as to prove yourself.
After several appointments and endless waiting for Kano government position on GMOs, the State Commissioner for Agriculture, Dr. Anjuma Mahmoud, eventually declined to speak to Channel's TV crew. However, a family physician at the Amini Kano Teaching Hospital, Kano, highlight some of the health concerns about the consumption of GM crops.
Some of the concerns are there's issue of maybe allergy, maybe some of the components in the substances. Some of our people, the humans, can react to them. They can have allergic reactions when they consume them.
Agricultural scientists are warning that the failure of Nigeria to invest in seeds, research and development could leave the country heavily dependent on food importation, which could open the door for GM foods to flood the Nigerian markets. Abubakar Salihu, Channels Television News.
Women entrepreneurs in Kano are stepping up their skills in both craft making and digital business management. A new training program implemented in partnership with the European Union is empowering participants with tools to boost their income and grow sustainable businesses. Our correspondent Nanchin Vincent reports.
Dozens of women gather at a training center in Kano to showcase handmade crafts, fashion items and other products, while also learning how to market their work using digital tools and online platforms.
Digital technologies to create sustainable, profitable and creating opportunities for women entrepreneurs.
The initiative, supported by the European Union, focuses on practical skills in craft production, product branding, digital literacy, online sales, and access to financial services needed to thrive in today's technology-driven economy.
We have dedicated over 700 million euros in grants to all these different areas and projects in Nigeria. We are trying to make sure that our projects address their needs, and this is also the case for the event today, the Women Venture Studio, that is going to help and reinforce the ecosystem, the environment for all the women entrepreneurs who are trying to do business in the area of Kano, but also Sokoto and Katsina.
Kano state officials and other stakeholders say the program reinforces their commitment to ensuring that women are not left behind as the economy shifts toward innovation and technology.
Those are open for collaboration with any hub and with any tech innovation center in Kano State or in Nigeria. And Kano State is all out to support this newly commissioned hub. By any means, we are going to work together with them to see how we can empower our women folk in the state.
We provide avenue, an enabling environment where women can actually be able to feel comfortable. Is a safe space where women can be able to feel comfortable. Our mentors, we try to make sure that all the mentors that we match these women with are women entrepreneurs who have excelled in their careers, who have listening ears to listen to the cry of these women and support them. We also provide avenues where all our programs, we have crèche services where women who are nursing, because one of the major things that hinders men from allowing their spouses to go out is, oh, how are you going to do with my child? Where are you going to keep my child? But then we have a space where you can keep your child and you have a very conducive environment. Your child can also be learning within that crèche service and you're also learning there. So that's like an inclusive environment. And then aside from that, we also try to make sure that the environment, we provide all the necessary support that handholds women to make sure we don't breach the cultural norms of the ecosystem.
Participants describe the training as timely, helping them expand their customer members, improve product quality, and tap into new online markets.
It's going to really impact on the girl child and the women, because it's going to really bring out the innovations they have.
The program is expected to run in phases across Kano State, with more women signing up in the coming months to benefit from the training. Nanchin Vincent, Channels.
And that's where we drop the anchor on this edition of Newsroom series. I'm Dominic. You enjoy the rest of your day.